I feel like I'm asking a lot of hard questions today. Right. In a way, I almost compare music now to quick fashion. Everything is just so easily recycled. Like it just goes into the bin after like 2 listens, after 5 listens, after 6 months, you're already on to the next song.
I like totally agree because I feel like it's a kind of like a bad loop because
Yeah,
I know that a artist only got paid like quarter of 1 cent per stream
yeah,
on Spotify.
exactly.
So like if you have like only like 100 streams per month, you barely get paid, but you are putting your music out there for free and then you're underpaid and underappreciated. I think it's just kind of like a bad loop of like artists are getting less underappreciated and we are kind of like underappreciated the music that artists put out. It's just like
Yeah,
kind of
because
like a
we want free, because we know we can get it for free. Whereas like there's that enjoyment, right? The satisfaction that I saved all of my like my hard-earned money, or like prior to that, I was like my money that I got during like New Year's, my red envelope money that I saved and saved and saved to get that CD. And you cherish that music even more. Whereas now there's no appreciation and everything, it's like disposable. I could just dispose this now because you know what, I'm just gonna skip to the next thing. And again, it goes back to that idea of getting free tickets that we talked about before, because you just want free tickets. Are you really appreciating what's happening on stage? Are you appreciating the fact that that artist is practicing 8 hours a day, slaving away to put on a great concert for you and losing sleepless nights, or the amount of work for a piece of production to be on that stage is an entire village of people coming together, putting on hours and hours to make that happen. And I think it's the same thing, how much it is. Yes, it is. Creating music is much cheaper now. That's kind of different, making, but at the same time, you're putting on hard work and yet you're making very little. So I think we perpetuate that too, right? Like we perpetuate that kind of bad cycle because it's made to us for free and we don't want to pay for free. Like you can choose to pay even for Spotify, like, and I will be the first to admit, I'm happy to listen to the ad. I don't care about the ad, and I just don't refuse to pay for a monthly payment, right? I don't know if you guys pay for
I don't
Spotify,
really
but
use
I don't. you know I'm fine listening to the ad. I'm fine to not have to download, to be able to download that thing for free and to have it on my phone. For me to pay that, even though it may not be $12.99 or $18.99 as all the CDs started to increase, as I was still, that journey of price increase on CDs. I just don't think that even for $3.99, is it worth it? Is that song so good that I want to pay for it? And this is sort of where my head is at, right? That's why, like, yeah, all of these apps I'm going to listen to for free. And I'm part, I am part of that problem too.
I mean, I have an Apple Music subscription.
Hmm.
I pay like what, $10 a month for unlimited downloads.
Yeah, I have Spotify, mainly because it has like music that's curated for you, based on what you listen to, and you recommend stuff, which is another way of discovering music that you've
Yeah,
never
and
heard
do
of
you and is
before.
that and yeah, like that whole curated thing. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it yet. Like, it's almost like the lazy way of just having people tell you what to do and you're not really discovering, right? Discovering is listening to everything as much as possible and you curating your own playlist.
Well, basically, it's like I forgot which day it is. Like every Monday, I think for me, they bring out a new playlist with a bunch of songs that are kind of similar to what you already listened to, and then every week, I think I pluck like two or three songs from that, after listening, and then I add it to my own playlist to keep, and then it refreshes every week.
But because it's an algorithm, right? They're choosing something based on your listening habit. So in a way, you're not really listening to anything completely new that you may or may not listen to.
Yeah, that is also true. So,
right? So are you really
yeah.
discovering new music anymore? Are you really discovering new sounds? It's a new song, yes, but the type of sounds, the framework of those song structures are very much similar because it's based on an algorithm of what you're doing, right? So in a way, you're like, I'm not really discovering. Right? Like my playlist, I can go all the way from like classical music to K-pop to Chinese pop to Arabic music to Arabic like classical like traditional music to Arabic hip hop to Arabic pop to world music. I mean, like it goes really like a schizophrenia that goes all over the place if you look at my playlist.
That sounds like my playlist.
Right. But that's because I purposely choose it, you know, and not because I'm waiting for someone to tell me what to listen to. So are we really discovering when our playlist is being selected by an algorithm? So are we now becoming even more narrow-minded without ourselves knowing about what we like or don't like? I feel like I'm asking a lot of hard questions today. Yeah, you're waiting for the apps to tell you, and it is based on an algorithm. So are you really listening to something completely different?
I was at my music supervision class, and basically the teacher, he is a music supervisor, and like he has
music supervisor for
commercials, films, or TV. He just got like a bunch of like examples for us to analyze, and then basically he's telling me to like, I was asking him like, how did you get such like a mass like playlist?
I wanted to do that.
Head.
And then he was a music supervisor at one point.
He was like, he just like listened to just like fall into the internet rabbit hole, like click to like one artist and then listen to their entire albums, and like maybe like there's linked to another artist. You just like kind of like connected yourself and like expand your own playlist. And then that's also like get me started to pay more attention to music and films, because I know they're like specifically selected for the film, and like it's like actually it's really sophisticated how they put music in films that before I took the class I never realized that, and after like right now I'm just like paying attention to what music that they put into the films, and that's kind of a new way for me to discover new music.
Right.
Because I do feel like the Spotify playlist that it's so generated, like you actually never go out of your own way, because if you listen to pop, R&B, they were just gonna like generate it like similar artists to it. So because I tried that, because I found out, okay, I'm basically listening to the same type of music again and again, so there's not that much of like diversity in the playlist.
I mean, look, I love Spotify because I can go on. I actively choose. I never listen to what they suggest. I'm actually actively going on there to search for stuff that I want to listen to, which is great. And that's how I use Spotify, right? And if it does lead me to something else that pops up of this something new, I will go and listen to it, right? But not because I'm listening to something that they generated for me or recommend, or, you know, so I think, so it's almost like I'm taking ownership of my selections, and I'll take your recommendations into consideration, but I'm not going to just listen to that because it just popped up in my list. And it's like, you know, and the one thing I love is like at the year end, you know, they do the year end where they tell you what you listen to the whole year. Like, I love it because it's literally all over the place.
It kind of like reminds me of like what Prince said, like it's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you. I feel like that's
exactly kind of totally. And even like listening to artists, and you know, even on YouTube, and that's still the same thing, it just keeps popping up, which irritates me to no end. But you know, but then it's, and I've fallen into those rabbit holes, right? And they'll take you on to the next and the next, and in some ways it's almost like, because I'm going off on a tangent, and that tangent takes me even to a further tangent, and that gives me some new surprises. So you need to allow yourself to go off the tangent first. I'm more thoughtful today because we were just going through our programming presentation, and we're in a room full of colleagues that are basically all Saudis. and just seeing their reaction to stuff that are so unfamiliar for them, and how they rate, because we were giving out, they would scan a QR code at the end of each artist presentation and to give it a score, right, of like how they feel about it, and what would you recommend the show. And so it kind of gives me this kind of response. It's like, are we really interested in learning something new? Because in so many ways, our algorithms on our computer, with or without us conscious knowingly about it, it's so curated through an algorithm. Everything that pops up on your Facebook, on any of it, it is all based on gathering information of how you use that device, and it spits out based on an algorithm what they think you like, or they're telling you should like this. And we are not getting off that to self-discover. So, maybe that's why I'm just like asking all these weird questions today, because I was a little bit frustrated also with some of the responses to some of these artists, like, because they haven't heard this sound before, they're like, oh, that's not suitable. But where's that element of, well, it's okay, why don't we just test it out, right? So if we go off the tangent, maybe it's like, it'll force us to listen to the whole song, right? If we get there to that point, it's like, okay, let us get to that point, but let's finish the whole song first before we just press skip after 10 seconds or 30 seconds. So I think that's maybe, I think that's sort of maybe what I, again, just, not to patronize, but just to think about how, again, us being in this business, right, to be good at what we do, it also means we have to be open to discovery. We have to be open to sounds and sights and genres and disciplines that we don't necessarily know or like.
I agree with you.
Because like for me, I sit there in the room, I'm like, okay, you expect us to bring in all Arabic artists or Arabic content, but don't forget, there is still 20% of the audience member that are non-Arabic speakers. So do you expect them to like it? Or if we're going to program something, how, it's like that challenge of like discovery too, right? Discovery of new things, of new genres, new music, new styles of music. Where can I cross that? Where is that middle ground where I can bring both sets of audiences together? Or what kind of Arabic content can I present that non-Arabic speakers will be interested too? Because our frame of mind, what we see, what we hear is already conditioned. And today, even more so, because everything spitting out at us through a screen is all pretty much pre-selected for you. This also extends to even live, right? Like what we choose to go hear or not hear. And I have to say, like, I would pat myself on my back because I'm the kind of person I want to listen to something new. So because of that, I was able to discover these amazing Arabic artists that are like, oh my God, I don't understand a lick of word that you're singing, but I love your work. And how many of you are discovering completely new sounds? And that's really what I want to encourage. Is like, just regardless of how we digest and how do we discover, are we really, maybe the big question is, are we really discovering new music?
I do feel like the way of our generation of discovering music and all the connection with media have like changed so much comparing to our parents, because like the way that because we have internet, and the way that we experience things are like finding stuff, information are so different. It's like all shifted. I feel like I'm very sure that from like, I'm in my 20s, and comparing to people who's born like probably after like 2010, like people who are right now as our teenagers, it's also different, because I feel like they're just like, it's so fast and quick and different from the way that we kind of have the intercourse with stuff and content. And also, like, I do agree with like finding music, because I think about this like very interesting metaphors. Like I think finding music are like actually thrifting, but like, do you mean thrifting in a selected boutique because they already pre-selected the pieces that you just go in there, or you just actually go into like this $5 spin, you're actually finding clothes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I think the method of how we find it is not the problem, right? Because we'll always have new ways, and in a way it's so much easier. I think the challenge is, are we allowing our minds to really discover? Or are we really just discovering the same thing again all the time? So I'll leave it at that. I know there's a lot of like thought-provoking, stimulating things going on tonight. But yeah, no, thank you everyone. This is a really fun conversation. Next time, maybe just you could tell me what to do with my 2000 CD, my collection of 2000 CDs.
You can sell it on eBay.
Still okay. I don't know how
that's what my dad
they
do.
keep storage, but I hope they're okay. They're like, that was my most prized possession when I actually moved from New York to California. That's all I took. I had like one suitcase of like clothes, and then everything else that got shipped over were all my CDs.
Maybe the title of the next video can be Top 10 Ways to Sell Cindy's CDs.
There we go.
Or Top 10 Things to Do with Cindy's CD collection.
Oh, you could do like, trying to get rid of my CDs. For this price, I'll send you a mystery CD. And then you can listen to it.
Oh my God, see, this is where you guys come very handy. You come up with all these ideas that I would not have think of. Excellent. Well, it was such a wonderful conversation. I will see, we'll see you guys all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.